Hello, my divine souls. Welcome to Spiritual Bloom, where we bloom within our consciousness with your spiritual guide and twin flame coach Neha. In today's episode, we are going to explore one of the deepest aspects of the twin flame journey. That is the connection between twin flame and service to humanity. Now, what if I tell you that your journey is not just about romance, union, or reunion? What if your journey is preparing you to serve humanity? Because there comes a stage in this journey where the soul begins asking a completely different question. Eventually, when you ascend, your question becomes deeper. And that question is, why did I go through such awakening? And why life humbled me down so much? And that question may be the beginning of your soul mission and service to humanity. Now, this twin flame journey, as we all know, reveals everything within you that has remained unconscious for years, because your twin is a mirror. And you start questioning after a certain stage. You question your life, your awakening, your career, relationships, beliefs, purpose, sometimes even your entire identity. The person you were before the connection begins dissolving, and a new consciousness slowly begins emerging. That is why many people on twin flame journey experience a powerful desire for deeper meaning. Suddenly, living mechanically no longer feels satisfying. You cannot simply wake up, work, earn money, sleep and repeat the same cycle forever. Something inside you begins whispering that there must be more to this journey. And it is important that you listen to that whisper. Because awakening often begins with dissatisfaction towards an unconscious life. Now, have you noticed that within the twin flame, many people who experience spiritual awakening eventually feel drawn towards helping others? Twin flames are naturally kind, compassionate, and helpful since a very young age. So, when they ascend in this journey, they gradually understand that this journey is not just about healing, it is about raising the vibration of this earth by serving the Mother Earth, by serving mankind. That's why some twin flames become healers, therapists, teachers, writers. Some work with children, animal, environment. Some enter law, medicine, or social service. And some people become the person within their family who finally breaks a generational cycle. Now, service does not always mean standing on a stage or becoming a spiritual teacher. And service does not mean creating social media account and calling yourself a healer. Service is consciousness expressed through actions. That means your consciousness has evolved through your healing so much that your vessel can no longer retain that, and you need to let it out to the world through your experiences, through your pain, through your traumas. Because when your consciousness expands, your body, the vessel, cannot keep that for too long. You have to let it out. And the way of letting it out can be through art, music, speech, writing. That's why when your consciousness reaches a certain level in this journey, you can no longer hide your creativity or hide yourself in isolation. The universe will drag you and pull you out in public, in places where you never thought you'd go, things which you never thought you'd ever do, like writing, giving a speech, making content. That is because your consciousness has evolved and you are no longer in that low vibration. That's why when you try to work or try to give into the world through your art, music, writing, or whatever it is. The fear removes itself, meaning previously whenever you used to think that okay, I'm going to write a book, or okay, I'm going to make a content, what happens? You get scared, thinking that I am in a hermit mode right now. How can I do this? People are going to see me, they are going to judge me for this. But when your consciousness arises, what happens is that fear automatically dissolves, and when it dissolves, you become extremely comfortable in expressing your consciousness through art, music, through any other form of actions. Service is not just teaching people, it is sometimes raising emotionally healthy children. If you give birth through this union, it becomes your responsibility to raise emotionally healthy children so that they don't carry forward any kind of pain, trauma, hatred in the upcoming generation. That's why you have worked so hard and done inner work to break the generational curses. Sometimes the service looks like helping one person escape an abusive situation, or creating art. Sometimes service looks like listening to another person. And sometimes your greatest service begins inside your own family, because when one person begins healing deeply, patterns starts changing. The way they communicate, it changes. The love changes. The way you raise your children, that changes. The way they respond to conflict, that changes. How you tolerate disrespect, how you make boundaries, how you choose relationship, everything changes. So healing one nervous system can influence an entire relational environment. That is why inner work and service are not always separate. Sometimes your healing itself becomes an act of service, because your healing is a blessing to the upcoming generation, not to follow those traumas, not to follow those abusive relationships or abuse in the upcoming times. Now, one of the deepest patterns within this journey is that the places where we suffer deeply often becomes the places where we develop extraordinary understanding. Think about it. The person who experiences abandonment may develop deep compassion for people who feel unwanted. Or a person who survives emotional neglect may become incredibly sensitive to the emotional needs of others. The person who struggled with self-worth may eventually teach others how to rebuild their identity. The person who experienced toxic relationships may learn the importance of boundaries. And the person who experienced spiritual confusion may eventually help others find clarity. Your wound is not automatically your purpose. Pain alone does not qualify anyone to guide others. Healing, education, self-awareness, and responsibility matters. But when pain is consciously processed, it becomes what? It becomes wisdom. And that wisdom can be utilized for service. Perhaps one day you may find yourself sitting with someone who is experiencing the same darkness you once survived. And suddenly you understand their silence, fear, why their body feels exhausted, why they keep on repeating similar patterns. You understand because you have visited that emotional landscape yourself. And your presence tells them that you understand their darkness. And this is also an act of service. Not by saving people or carrying people or becoming responsible for everyone's healing, but using your awareness with compassion and responsibility to make the other person feel heard, seen, and comfortable. Now, in this journey, the divine feminine is the one that awakens first. She starts searching, healing, meditating, and understanding all these patterns. She may become deeply interested in trauma, energy, spirituality, and consciousness. But there is a shadow side. The divine feminine can become completely consumed by the twin flame connection, which is true. And slowly, spirituality becomes another form of waiting for divine feminine. But when the divine feminine starts healing and ascending, a powerful shift takes place. She starts reclaiming her energy. And when she reclaims her energy, her creativity returns. Her throat chakra opens and her voice returns. Her ambitions align and her purpose also align. She realizes at that moment that the love she awakened through this connection was never meant to remain trapped inside her, longing for one person. That love was meant to expand into what? Use that divine love, that divine energy, that inner work to expand your life through your work, creativity, service to community. It expands into the way she speaks, she supports others, the way she lives. And embodiment naturally influences through her to the community, to the services and the world around us. Now, in case of divine masculine, they may experience purpose differently, because we know that divine masculines are deeply connected to action and they are quite practical. Whereas an unhealed masculine may build its identity around external success like money, status. So what happens is the awakening process can challenge this identity. And gradually they realize, and that realization can create an existential crisis. Because they start losing power over their career, old ambitions, friendship, and slowly the masculine may withdraw or question everything or feel absolutely lost. But when he taps into his divine masculine energy, he does not lose ambition. He transforms his ambition. And when he transforms his ambition, he becomes more powerful. But previously he was powerful, he was ambitious, but after he heals and becomes a true divine masculine, he equally remains powerful, he equally remains ambitious, but his power and ambitions are used for the right purpose. It is not empty. Like previously they had ambition, they had a purpose because they wanted to earn money, earn status. But now that purpose and ambition is used for the service of mankind. The finances are used for the service of humanity. And when they do that, they automatically attract what? They attract success. They attract the status. Previously they have been chasing status because they wanted validation from people. But when they are healed, they do it from a good intention. They use their powers, they use their money for good intention, good purpose, service of mankind. And when they start working for the service of mankind, the universe returns them natural blessings, natural flow of money, wealth, status. So, the divine masculine does not control humanity. Instead, he learns how to contribute to it. Now, many people they think that, the union is the end of the journey. But let me tell you that union can never be the end, because your consciousness is something that continues evolving. Even if two people in a healthy spiritual partnership still have individual responsibilities, individual growth, purpose, and contribution. Perhaps their work is only beginning. Because when two emotionally aware individuals come together, they may create differently, they lead differently, their parenting skills are different, they serve the humanity differently, and they become extremely powerful. Now, this does not mean that every twin flame couple must start a spiritual business together or any business together. It can be that if both are destined to be in a union this lifetime, they may be married or living under one roof but carrying out their purpose individually, or they may be living under one roof and carrying out one single purpose together. But no matter, even if they are carrying it alone, whether they are in a divine union in this 3D or not, that soul purpose becomes extremely powerful, because you are operating and contributing to Mother Earth through higher vibration, higher frequencies, through understanding and knowledge of this entire journey. It's like you have done PhD by the time you ascend. So you become extremely powerful. Let it be you are in a divine union or not. That does not matter. What matters is your ascension. Because let me tell you that if you are thinking that I am not destined to be in a 3D union, so I have to lead the soul purpose alone, and my divine masculine will be leading his soul purpose somewhere else alone, it's not going to work, or it's not going to last. No, my dear, it will last, and it will give you that status, that lifestyle, maybe which you have never imagined. Even if you are just in inner union with yourself, and maybe your journey is not destined to come into 3D union, your soul purpose and their soul purpose still has a value. And for people who are destined to be in a 3D union, get married, for them the responsibility becomes more tough. It's more difficult. Now I'll tell you how. Because when both the energies are living together and their energies are not aligned, do you think they can carry forward the soul purpose or the responsibility that they are supposed to carry forward? They won't be able to. They'll keep on fighting. Either they'll keep on fighting, or there will be misunderstandings, then again they'll come into separation. So what if they are married? The vibration is not aligning, the frequency is not aligning, because probably one of them cheated. Cheated means they did not do the inner work properly. So when you don't do inner work properly, what happens is, even if you are under one roof or living separately, your soul purpose does not give you the fruitful result. You will never feel satisfied. And even after you are living under one roof, being married to your counterpart, you will never feel satisfied. You will have that resentment, because you could not forgive your counterpart probably. You did not heal properly. So how will you carry forward such big responsibility or soul purpose? You can't. So be very careful. No matter 3D union is written or not, you need to do your inner work properly. Because without your inner work, if your energies are not aligned, you can never reach the end goal. The end goal is your soul purpose. Be it married with your divine counterpart or not married with your divine counterpart. In both the situations, if your energies are not aligned, you cannot carry forward that big responsibility of soul purpose. You will never be able to fulfill it. So, service to humanity is very important, because that is the end goal. And if your consciousness is not aligned, your energy is not aligned, you can never carry forward that soul purpose. Let it be alone, or let it be with your counterpart. So you should be very careful when you Know that inner work is the most important pillar in this journey. Now, one of the important message I want to give in this video is that you have to stop waiting for union to begin your mission. You do not need to wait for your twin flame to awaken before you discover your purpose. Your purpose might come to you at the correct divine timing when you have healed to a certain point. And when you get that instinct that you have aligned with it, you have aligned with your consciousness, you need to move forward with your purpose without waiting for your divine counterpart. Because you do not need physical union before you serve. Waiting in this journey is dangerous, especially when your intuition tells you that your soul purpose is this, now you need to carry forward this, but you are ignoring it, thinking that no, let my divine counterpart come, I will do when we are in union. Please don't do that, because if you keep on if you start being stubborn, you know what your soul purpose is, yet you are not working on it, and you act stubborn, the energy, the consciousness will not be able to retain inside your body. It needs to be let out, like I told you, through your speech. And these energies, when they remain too long in your body, in your vessel, you start falling sick. So don't wait for your counterpart. They will do their soul purpose when they have awakened or ascended, but you have found your soul purpose, right? So work on it, because your soul purpose is also going to help them awaken fast, come out of karmic cycles. Like I told you, you are the leader in this journey. You ascend, they will also ascend. You awaken fast, their awakening will speed up. You carry forward your soul purpose and focus on yourself, they will come out of all the karmic cycles slowly and gradually, but they will. But if you keep on being stubborn, waiting for them, things are not going to work out for you, and it's not going to work out for them either. So you have to use your discernment, you have to be smart. That's why many people are stuck in this journey for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, because they keep on waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting in that misery, that painful energy. Because when you let out, when you actually give service to mankind through your work, through your soul purpose, you feel free. You don't feel stuck anymore. Things starts aligning for you. So soul purpose is very important. Don't be stubborn and keep waiting for your counterpart. They will do their soul purpose when their divine timing comes. So you need to understand that the twin flame mission is bigger than the twin flame label. It's not just about ascending, it's not just about healing, it does not end there. The end goal is your soul purpose, because your soul purpose is one thing which actually leads you to union. If you carry forward your soul purpose sincerely, it awakens your divine masculine fast. It takes them out from the karmic cycles faster, and it brings you your union. So service just does not mean service to humanity. Firstly, it's service to yourself by being kind to yourself. By being kind to yourself in this journey, by working on yourself. That is the first act of service that you can do for yourself and your counterpart in this journey. Because when you are healing, when you are ascending, it is not just for yourself. Even based on your healing, based on your ascension, your counterpart is also awakening. If you get stuck, even they will get stuck. Because what are you two people? You people are mirrors, mirror souls. That's why the more fast you are in this journey, that is the speed that your counterpart is going to follow. Now let that be through ascension, awakening, or carrying forward your soul mission or service to mankind. So if you really like this episode, do like, share, subscribe and comment. For any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again in another episode.